Welcome everyone to Beyond the Adventure. Today's episode is the autumn train ride, and let's get started. So starting this episode off here, I want to show you guys a shot of the train waiting at the platform for passengers to board. Anyways, this is the fourth time that the Irish organization that I belong to has put this train on with the help of the Pioneer Valley Railroad, and for the past 2 years I have been the one that has been in charge of setting up this event, selling tickets, getting all the food and everything like that. So anyways, this event went on sale, the tickets for this event went on sale on the last week of September, and they sold out within 8 days. There was 120 tickets available to purchase. There was 2 different rides, both hold 60 passengers. Now the train typically holds about 40 to 45 passengers, but the railroad gives us the option to take out the benches and the seating that is in there and replace it with folding chairs so that we can get more people to purchase tickets. Now the event, or the purpose of this event, is to generate funds for the Irish organization that I belong to use for scholarships for different students that are deserving in the area. And in addition, we also donated half of the proceeds from this event to the local food pantry to help them out, because the holiday season is coming up and the winter season is coming up as well, so they could definitely use all the money that they could get. Now, like I said, this takes place at Heritage State Park in Holyoke. Last year, I did this episode as well, so if you want to check it out, the link will be up here down below in the description. There was a couple of pamphlets and information and tickets and stuff like that up at my mother's house in a scrapbook. I actually rode this rail line a couple of times when I was young, and it used to operate out of the Heritage State Park in Holyoke and travel over to Westfield. And it hasn't been in operation since, I believe, sometime around 1997, 1998. They still use the rail line to deliver freight and move freight that is located in the city of Holyoke. However, passengers are not allowed to ride on this rail car. Now, they do have an event at Christmas time where Santa gets on the train and arrives at the park, and children are allowed to go on board and sit on Santa's lap. But as far as the train actually moving and getting to travel with passengers on it, it does not do that. So anyways, here is entering the car right now. This is a 1930s era fully restored coach car from, I can't remember the exact name of the company that built it, but like you can see, like I was saying there, all the chairs have been, replacing the benches. Anyways, here's the stuff that I was talking about that I found up at my mother's house. This is going off of the pamphlet that you used to get before you boarded the train. History has come alive in Holyoke. More than 100 years after the first passengers rode the rail to the city, that same magical feeling can be experienced once again with a trip on the Holyoke Heritage Park Railroad. Since June of 1984, thousands of local residents and visitors to the area have thrilled at this unique opportunity to step back in time. Now it's your turn. Come ride the 3 antique rail cars on a scenic 5-mile round trip through Holyoke and the surrounding countryside. We'll guarantee you'll enjoy the splendor of New England while taking a very special look at one of the first planned cities in America, first industrial planned cities in America. You'll delight in the enjoyment of railroading as it used to be. Truly a memorable occasion for all. So here we are, actually ending at the stopping point of the first trip right here. We do 2 trips. They both leave from Heritage State Park, and they both go up to the Ashley Reservoir line, because after that point the rails are kind of in rough shape. As you probably would have seen in a couple of clips there, the passenger car is bouncing around an awful lot. You will see more of that on the second trip. So during the first ride right there, I rode inside of the passenger car, and we sold apple cider donuts, apple cider, coffee, just breakfast stuff. The first ride took place at 9 o'clock, and this took place in the middle of a nor'easter. Now, going all the way back to the very first year that we hosted this event, we did have rain, but it wasn't a nor'easter, and this time it was raining. The train runs rain or shine, so we still had the event. We were actually at the peak for the foliage. You guys know I can't say that word. We were at the peak for the changing of the leaves in this area. So here I am just waiting, collecting tickets for the people boarding the second train right here. Now, here I am getting onto the caboose, and a cool fact, this is one of the only train rides in America that you can actually ride in a caboose, which I did not know that until we were talking to somebody from the Amherst Railway Society when they wanted to promote this event. Going back to the promotion of this event, it worked out really well, because in a 72-hour period we had 2,800 shares of this article that was published online, basically informing the public about the train trip. Here is going under 391. You can just see the massive amounts of water pouring out of the drainage ditches. Now, as you can see, guys, it's raining. Like I said, it is raining. And for a majority of the second trip, I actually stood on the back platform of the caboose in the pouring, freezing rain. and was filming for you guys. I actually used the iPhone 8 Plus for the entire filming of this trip. Now here is inside here is inside the actual caboose. This is a cupola. It's located at the top, and it is basically an area where when people would work on the railroad, the workers would live out of the caboose. The top would have two different beds and seats, and the bottom would have different seats, and they had a stove, an area to cook, and a little washroom and everything like that. But you can see how the passenger car is shaking quite a bit. Now this is obviously sped up. I believe the maximum speed that they can travel on this rail line is about 15 miles an hour or so. Once again, just the shaking of the car. This is coming up on the Holyoke Mall right here. That is the platform that you used to actually exit the train if you were going to the mall, and the train would pick you back up there. I remember doing that once when I was a kid, sometime around the holiday season, because of parking at the mall before they had a parking garage was absolutely crazy. Coming up right before this intersection, there was actually a train car that was derailed. I guess there was a heave or something, a frost heave in the track, and it had buckled off the track a few weeks back. But since that time, they have replaced it, put the train back on the track, or put the cart back on the track. Inside, there are screens, metal screens all over all the window, which is what you guys are seeing inside of the caboose. There's a shot of the caboose and the windows that I was just talking about. Now, going on to the Pioneer Valley Wikipedia page, the Pioneer Valley Railroad is a Class 3 short-line freight railroad operating for the former Conrail, New Haven, and Hartford trackage in the western part of Massachusetts in the town of Westfield, Holyoke, and Southampton. Since being founded in 1982, Railroad Company has been owned by the Pinsley Railroad Company, with the headquarters located in Westfield, Massachusetts. It was built way before 1982 by Irish immigrants that came over to this country. One of our members that is also an employee of the train company's grandfather had built the rail, and they are in the 4th or 5th different generation of that same family working on the rail line, which is a really cool thing to be a part of. So here is actually us just heading all the way back to Heritage State Park on the final train ride. Now, the first ride, we only had 3 people that chose to sit in the caboose. The second ride, it was myself and the employee that was working for the railroad were the only 2 people in the caboose, which I found shocking. I know it was absolutely freezing that day, and there really wasn't a heater inside the caboose. They didn't have the stove running, or the wood-fired stove running to keep the heat going or anything like that. But in previous years, when we had gone in the caboose, there's been upwards of 10 to 15 people, the maximum amount that they could carry in there. Here we're just walking back to the truck, just giving you guys a little undershot, or a shot of the underbelly of the train. Anyways, that is the end of the episode for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. Next week is actually the mid-season break of Season 7, so I will see everybody on Friday for Free For All Friday. Peace.